So Elizabeth Warren reframed the climate change debate in a way that all the candidates should take notes on, because this is correct the way she did this. Take a look.
There are a lot of ways that we try to change our energy consumption and our pollution. And God bless all of those ways. Some of it is with light bulbs, some of it is on straws, some of it, dang, is on cheeseburgers, right? There are a lot of different pieces to this, and I get that people are trying to find the part that they can work on and what can they do, and I'm in favor of that, and I'm going to help, and I'm going to support. But understand, this is exactly what the fossil fuel industry hopes we're all talking about. That's what they want us to talk about. This is your problem. They want to be able to stir up a lot of controversy around your light bulbs, around your straws, and around your cheeseburgers. When 70% of the pollution, of the carbon that we're throwing into the air comes from 3 industries, and we can set our targets and say by 2028, 2030, and 2035, no more. Think about that.
That's right. Don't have the debate and the discussion on their terms, because their terms are fraudulent. What is with this obsession all of a sudden with plastic straws? That has to make up a tiny, tiny percentage of the plastic waste. But somehow now this became the rallying cry. And by the way, Kamala Harris walked right into the trap. Right into the trap. Yeah, I'm sure we got to do something about that. We got to look into the plastic straws thing. Just like she also pointed out the cheeseburgers thing. The conversation should not be about, oh my God, let's ban the plastic straws. Oh my God, got to stop eating the cheeseburgers. Are you kidding me? You could not make up a scenario where you hand the debate over to the right wing any more than that. So the real way you approach this is you reframe the debate on the proper terms. The debate is not about individual personal responsibility and stop doing these things that you like and stop using these things that you like. No, the conversation has to be about systemic reform, because there are 100 companies, or 3 industries as she puts it, responsible for 71% of global emissions. So in other words, the only way you address climate change, the only way you address it, is to do systemic top-down reform where we set clear rules and goals, and we achieve them, and we meet them, and we enforce it. So that's how you do it. The idea that you like personally shame people because they used a straw or they ate a cheeseburger, nonsense. You couldn't craft a better message to shoot the environmental movement in the head any more than that. Like, that is just, hey, right wing, here. We're going to let you recruit more people, and we're going to be like this parody of the environmentalist, of like the silly environmentalist. We're going to become that living parody by acting like, oh yeah, that's what the debate should be on. The debate should be on, straws and cheeseburgers and banning air travel, which is utter nonsense. Don't let them frame this part, because in all seriousness, their framing is just a lie. It's just a lie. To act like this should be the heart of the movement. No, we're talking about serious proposals to wean our way and eventually get totally off of fossil fuels, where we have a replacement and we have an economy that creates millions of jobs around this green and renewable technology. That's not a bad idea. That's not a dumb idea. If anything, it's exciting because we can have a lot more job creation as we fix our environment and try to combat climate change. So she's right about this. Now, the final point I want to make in the context of this conversation is this, though. It's amazing that you have somebody whose political instincts are so good yet also so bad at the same time. Because she was asked a very straightforward question about, hey, maybe profiteering off, utilities is a terrible idea in the first place. Like, would you be in favor of maybe nationalizing utilities? And she was basically like, no. And the idea that that's like a radical position is insane. I mean, having public utilities is so commonplace in the developed world. And it's one of those things that, of course, kind of should be off the table, like healthcare is off the table in developed countries, like education is off the table in developed countries. This idea that somebody should swoop in and, make a profit off of the energy sector, off of electricity. Like, why would we be okay with certain things like that being for profit? It just doesn't make any sense. those should be off the table. Again, look at the rest of the developed world. Super common. I mean, nationalizing the energy industry is almost like a no-brainer because having it in the private sector has been an unmitigated disaster in a variety of ways. So now does this mean, and now this is me talking from my perspective, I'm not trying to reflect what her ideology is or what her perspective is. Like, does this mean, oh, let's nationalize every industry? No, I don't agree with that. I don't think there's any reason to nationalize certain industries. And in fact, I think when it comes to most consumer goods, if you do nationalize it, the evidence shows that it's worse. That industry becomes worse. So am I saying let's take this mindset and apply it everywhere? No, I'm not talking about consumer goods. I'm not talking about mattresses. I'm not talking about video games. I'm not talking about entertainment industry, whatever, fill in the blank. I'm not talking about any of that stuff. But am I talking about energy? Yeah. Yeah, I am talking about that. You know, put that right in the same category as healthcare. So it's just really strange that in some ways she nails the framing. And she's like, oh, yeah, let's stop pretending this is about plastic straws. But on the other hand, she's asked a very straightforward question about, like, hey, can basic things be public in a civilized society? And she's like, no. There is only one Bernard Sanders. There's only one.